This diminutive cotton rat is native to the southeastern United States, and as rats go, it's pretty cute. It lives in fields, grasslands, croplands, and just about anywhere there is water and nearby dense grass cover to call home. In this case, the dense saw palmetto understory of the mixed pine and scrub oak forest behind the backyard south. The feral cat spends the night hunting these tasty little rats, and while about 3 out of 4 jumps fail, they eventually get their prey. I had spilled a small amount of birdseed for the painted buntings on the pine straw forest floor, and then noticed on the trail camera that this caused a rather humorous competition amongst the resident grackle clan and one particular cotton rat that just wouldn't give up. At first, this just appears to be rats and grackles competing at trying to eat the same spilled seed. But the persistence of the little rat to go out into the open in daytime, which would normally be very risky behavior for somebody who lives at the bottom of the food chain, actually has a pretty logical and amazing reason. The birds don't realize it, but they're being used. The grackles and small songbirds are no threat to the small rat, and the rat is no threat to the songbirds, but the rat knows it's much safer to eat with the birds, who will take noisy flight at the first sign of a potential predator with so many eyes on the lookout. And it's worth it even if the rat has to be a classic pest, annoying the birds and constantly running back and forth to its grass tunnel. Because after a while even the birds relax and only occasionally poke at the rat, and the rat gets food it would otherwise never get. This is of great benefit to the rat, but of no particular benefit to the bird that I can think of right now. If you do or I do later, let's post it in the comments and I'll pin it. So as it turns out, this phenomenon I observed has been studied before with cotton rats, the little rats that have a lifespan of about 6 to 9 months if they're lucky. Behavioral ecology is a field that attempts to identify what animals do and explain why from a biological standpoint. Many behavioral patterns are obvious and self-serving among the same species. Other relationships benefit one species, but not necessarily such as the one discovered in a study conducted by David Young at the University of Georgia. As we said, cotton rats are fat, brown balls of fur that are considered an ideal meal by many predators. Cotton rats know they are considered good eating and are highly cautious about venturing into open areas where they might be caught. But if a board covered with seed is placed in a field, cotton rats will eventually move into the open area to get the free meal, usually on one condition: a flock of feeding sparrows must already be on the board. In the study, video cameras were used to record the response of sparrows and cotton rats to the presence of large plywood squares that had been sprinkled with seeds. Shortly after the food was put out, sparrows began to come and go, and so did the cotton rats. However, the rats would wait along the margins until the sparrows arrived. The rats and sparrows ignored one another while they were eating, but if the sparrow flew away, the rat would scurry off the board to their grass tunnel. The rats were taking advantage of the sparrows as sentinels, and were too wary to venture out into the open without the benefit of a warning system. Confirmation that the cotton rats were aware of the potential danger of feeding in the open areas was made on the very few occasions when a rat was present with no sparrows around. When feeding on the board with sparrows, a rat had a food intake per minute, as measured on the videotape, 10 times that of one that dined alone. The reason is solitary cotton rats spend most of their time scanning the skies for hawks and have little time to enjoy the free meal. Whether the sparrows derive any benefit from having cotton rats at their dinner table is still to be determined. So while the backyard grackles were annoyed by the presence of the little cotton rat, the cotton rat knew it was much safer around the grackles, and the grackles just eventually learned to live with the rat running underfoot. After a while, the rat figured out he would be able to eat more and be harassed less if it hid underneath the pine straw to eat the seeds that had filtered through.